Other people are gonna lie to you, but I won't lie to you. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail, and you clicked on the video. It's finally here! The Olympus OM3. Look how pretty she is. God damn. Look at her back end. She is fine from head to toe. After 30 days of touching, smelling, kissing. Oh, okay, maybe not kissing, but thoroughly messing around with it, I'm ready to give you my honest feedback on the Olympus OM3. I'll be rating it on a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, across key categories: design and build, ergonomics, features, image quality, and last but not least, price. Now this review is strictly from a street photography, travel photography, daily life photography point of view. So if you're a sports shooter, wildlife shooter, event photographer, or whatever else type of photography exists outside of the first 3 that I mentioned, this video might not be for you. So to save yourself some time, you can just exit out of this video.
I was actually enjoying myself.
Before we dive in, a quick intro for those of you that are new here, just happened to stumble upon my channel. Back in 2020, I produced a feature-length street photography documentary called Fill the Frame. And guess what? It is now free on my YouTube channel. Yes, free. F-R-E-E. I'll have the link to the film in the description box down below, so you guys can check it out, enjoy it. And for those of you that have been here since the very beginning, since day 1, I just want to say thank you. And seriously, if I could, I would give you a hug right now. Alright guys, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, let's rate the first category, the design and build quality. The Olympus OM3 is metal. It's solid. It's weather sealed. It has that 70s, 80s SLR retro look. It is quite sexy for a camera. I mean, having this camera in my hand feels like I'm traveling back in time. Make a picture like that. And honestly, when I first took this out on the streets, I overheard a young couple say, "Look at that cool film camera there." See, I'm not much of a film shooter just because of the cost, but I do like the design of film cameras. So this merges really well with film aesthetics, design, build quality, but yet still being a digital camera. I mean, having shot with the Ricoh GR3 for 4 years, a nice compact camera that could fit any of my pockets. This is something much heavier, more robust, but still can be discreet out on the streets. I told you at the very beginning of the video I was gonna be honest, right? The design and build quality for this Olympus OM3 scores a perfect 5. Yes, I don't normally score perfect grades. I'm that teacher where like you can get everything on the test correct and I'll still give you a 98% just to be a hard ass. Olympus OM really knocked it out of the ballpark. I'm really impressed. Good job. Okay, the next category is ergonomics. I'm gonna be honest and point this out from the beginning here. When I did the video, should I buy the Olympus OM3? Many of you guys commented, don't buy it. The EVF is half the quality of the OM1. And to be frank, I overlooked that part. I didn't really think it would matter that the EVF was half the quality of the OM1 or many of the high-end competitor cameras out there. And when I put my eye for the first time into that viewfinder, I was about to return the camera back to B&H. The EVF on the OM3 has 2.36 million dots with a 0.69 magnification, a very big step down from the OM1, which has 5.8 million dots. And when I put my eye through the EVF and looked through it, it looked exactly like the Olympus M5 Mark II, which was released like 10 years ago. I noticed it right away, like it looked exactly the same. So I googled it and voila, the millions dots is exactly the same as the M5 Mark II. And I could just tell by looking through the EVF because I shot with that camera for about 5 years. Having experienced that for the moment, I felt like I was getting robbed. For the price I paid for this, which I'll go into the last category at the end of this video, I don't know if this was a good strategy, a good marketing move from Olympus. I don't know who came up with this idea to keep the same sensor as the OM1, change the body out, but also let's pull the EVF from the M5 Mark II because we have so much laying around and install that here. I mean, at the end of the day, now that I'm saying this out loud, the OM3 kind of does feel like a Frankenstein camera where where it has the sensor of the OM1, it has the EVF of the M5 Mark II, but then it has the SLR film body. And I think they did this because they're banking on sales in regards to the look and feel of the camera. To me, if you're gonna go a step down the electronic viewfinder quality, then you better make it cheaper than the OM1. But right now, the OM1 and the OM3 are about the same price. Yep, I just double checked. They are the same price, and I'll go into price at the very end. Okay, so hold your horses. I mean, when you have a low quality electric viewfinder, you're basically saying that this camera is for entry-level users. And having used this for the past 30 days, I don't consider this entry-level camera. I would say it's middle tier, maybe upper. If they had an entry-level version of this kind of camera, then I'll understand why they will install the old EVF in there, basically to keep price down. Okay, that was the big hiccup for me. It deducts a lot of points in my eyes. Now, each camera is not gonna fit perfectly in your hands. It really depends on the size of your hands. For my hands and the size of this camera and the weight of it, it fits perfectly well. I don't need to bother looking to a hand grip like some comments online that I've seen from people. The switch, the dials, it all feels sturdy. It feels nice. It's all metal. I like the placement of it, where I can adjust the f-stop, shutter speed, just using my index finger and thumb. I don't really have to touch anything over here. All my exposure adjustments are all up here, and I like it like that. To adjust ISO, I assign the FN button for my ISO adjustment. But for street photography, I don't really adjust my ISO when I'm on the go. I set it to a max at 640 ISO. If I need to adjust the exposure, I can use the shutter dial here or the f-stop here. From experiencing the menu setting, there wasn't much of a learning curve to me. It was pretty straightforward, and there wasn't a lot of tabs to go through. And then the color profile dial is right here. If you want to just change it to the contrasty black and white or vibrant color, it's right here in the front, real easy. Yeah, with the setup like this, it just makes it so much fun to go out and shoot street. Have the camera in your hand and just get lost in the moment. So the rating I'll give the Ergonomics, if the EVS was 5.8 million dots, I mean, you heard me be harsh on the EVF, and deservingly so. And to backtrack before I give my rating on this, I was using the Ricoh GR3 for 4 years, which has no EVF. It just has an LCD screen. But the past 6 months or so, I've been using my Sony a7S II right over here, or I have another extra one here, which feels good in the hands. It's a little bit bulky. This is a high quality, high tier camera where everything is clear as day, sharp. And I think having used this for street for the past 6 months kind of spoiled it for me a bit. So when I jumped over to this one, the downgrade was noticeable. And if they just installed a better EVF, they'd get a higher score from me, but they didn't do that. So out of 5, the Ergonomics, I would have to say is a 3. Yes, a 3. Had they had the better EVF, I'd probably give it a 4, but right now it's a 3. Alright, moving on to features. So for features, I mean, this camera has a lot outside of street photography related. But for street, the big selling point is the color profiles, the high contrast black and white, the vibrant color profiles. Although I didn't utilize much of that the past 30 days, when I did, it reminded me so much of the Olympus Pen F from 2017. Oh, that was a fun camera to shoot with. Like I mentioned earlier, it's so easy to just switch back and forth, go to normal standard profile. Once you set the look that you want, there it is. Just easy like that. Just the dial. And the dial is a solid feel. You really got to put some muscle into it to change it. So if you're shooting, there's no way like your finger placement here is going to be able to move it. You actually got to put your hand, or in this case, fingers, to really intentionally change the color profile. I did see some people complaining about the dual slot. Now, I don't know if the dual slot is under Ergonomics or features, but I'm fine with that. I don't press the shutter button a lot when I'm out shooting anyways. I literally treat my digital camera like film cameras, where I don't press the shutter button a lot. I don't shoot burst mode. I try to shoot with intention. I shoot instinctually, or when I find a nice corner, a spot. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to shoot what speaks to me and not just press the shutter button as I go, as I walk. So for the features, for what this camera holds and produces, I gotta give it an honest 4 out of 5. Alright, next up is the image quality of the OM3. It has a 5-axis IBS image stabilization, which I think is like standard for most cameras these days, right? In camera raw editing tools, which I did not honestly I did not utilize or even entertain with. But what I did notice is once you get your settings down and you press that shutter button, once you get home and upload those files onto your computer, there's very minimal to no editing. And I think Olympus did that intentionally, where they do want to save you time with not having to over process your images. So to add to that, this is a perfect camera, a perfect situation if you're like a news photographer, documentary style, where you need to send the photo editor photos right then and there or right after your shoot, and you don't have time to edit, or the client or editor doesn't expect you to do any editing at all. When I was looking at the image quality compared to the Olympus M5 Mark II, I honestly couldn't tell the difference, which is kind of scary because it means that I should just stick with the Olympus M5 Mark II, right? I mean, each camera brand just has their own unique look because of the sensor they use. For example, when I was doing street photography with the Sony a7S III the past 6 months, I noticed the image quality on the Sony cameras are much smoother. I've seen it on other street shooters who shoot on Sony. It just has a more clean, smoother look, similar to like the Leica Qs. It looks so, I don't know how to describe it, like silky. It looks so clean. Whereas something like the Ricoh doesn't have a very clean, polished look. It has some grain regardless of what ISO levels you have it at. And I would say the Olympus is in that territory as well with the Ricoh. It has a little bit of grain regardless of what your exposure is, how well it's lit. It has a touch of grain. And for me personally, for street photography, I like that. I like it when it doesn't look too polished, doesn't look too perfect. For commercial work, I would want to send the client a much more smoother, polished, quality look. Now, I know if grain is an issue for you, you're not too excited about that. It doesn't make you excited in the pants. I know in Lightroom you can just change the clarity, bring it down a little bit. That should help. But again, for me, I like a little bit of grain. I like a little bit of imperfection. So for image quality, like I said, I don't mind the grain, but if I was to take a shot with the OM3, the Olympus Pen F, and the M5 Mark II, I wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. I don't know, maybe something's wrong with my eyes. So with that reasoning, I gotta rate the image quality at a 3.5 out of 5. Okay, we're down to the last category, which is price. Price matters, especially if you're like me, who's on a budget, where I shouldn't be spending money I don't have on a new camera. But when I saw the teaser and I saw the look of this, the lust, the temptation took over, and shooting on the Sony a7S III with a 35mm lens was not exciting. We had no chemistry, so I had to bite the bullet and purchase one of these. The price of this is $1,999, so basically $2,000 plus tax plus shipping to Hawaii. It was about a little over $2,100. Now at first I honestly thought this camera was gonna be priced at $1,500, and I was hoping and praying it was. That would have been more easy to swallow to purchase. And then when they announced the price that it was $2,000, I had to take a step back and come to realization the standard price for cameras these days are $2,000. And I'll tell you, my bank account is not happy with me right now. What makes it worse is that the EVF, I mean, it goes back to the EVF. You have a piece of crap EVF installed and you're pricing it at $2,000. With the quality of the EVF that it has, it should be easily $1,500. So I'd be curious if this is selling well. I honestly, if I didn't have a Micro Four Thirds setups prior having this lens and I had to buy a whole new setup, I probably wouldn't have purchased this because that would have just added more to my bill. But because I already had the lens and I'm familiar with Olympus cameras, it was a little bit more convincing for me to make this purchase. One thing I want to add to the image quality, I don't know if this is under image quality or ergonomics or features. I'm not able to autofocus on the older Olympus lenses. I do think the new company OM, they want you to purchase their new lenses, the newer models. So therefore, if you have the old OMD lenses, I don't think autofocus works with the sensor. It's not a big issue for me because I don't normally autofocus for street photography anyways. I do zone focus. I set it to infinity or sometimes 3 meters and don't look back. So with that being said, the rating for the price, I would have to give it a 2. Yeah, I think I'm being generous here, maybe a 1, but I'm gonna give it a 2. I think it should seriously be $1,500. But who am I to say? I'm not one to tell somebody how to price their items. Heck, if it's selling well at $2,000, maybe they should have had the price even higher. So is this camera for you? Well, obviously that depends. I always tell people, and I should follow this myself, maybe rent it first and see how it feels before committing. If you need to buy an entirely new lens setup just to make it work, you might want to pass. But if you're already rocking a Micro Four Thirds system, this could be a solid addition to your kit. The real hesitation, it comes down to the price. But hey, if money isn't an issue for you, unlike for me, a broke ass bitch, then go for it. Treat yourself. Have fun shooting, and hey, at least you look stylish doing it. There you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and you know that notification bell? Hit that, and every time I post new content or videos, you'll be notified. Until then, stay safe and keep shooting.